All right, ladies and gents, here we go. We're getting ready to make some crawfish etouffee. Here are the ingredients you will need. Right here we have parsley, freshly chopped, unsalted butter. That's a must. Green onions. Then the Holy Trinity in Louisiana, this is what we call celery, bell pepper, onion, and garlic. 1 pound of crawfish tails, $8.99. My own Creole season mix that I put together. Can't give you that. All-purpose flour, chicken broth, heavy whipping cream, and there's a pre-packaged crawfish meat. So let's get this stuff put together. First we're going to make the rice. I'm going to show you how to do the rice, and then I'll show you how to put the roux together, and then we'll get started. Be back in a moment. Alrighty, we're back. Now here we get ready to make the rice. I'm going to show you how my 103-year-old grandmother taught me when I was about 10 years old. We do it the old school way like she do in Louisiana. I don't measure. I'll put the rice in a pot, put my finger in. Now each one of these lines in your finger, as you can see right here, symbolizes 1 inch. So that's 1 inch, 2 inch, 3 inch. Everybody's is the same. Don't worry about it. You can put your hand next to your husband, your girlfriend, you'll see these ridges are exact same spacing. So that is 1 inch. So I put it in here, I got approximately a 1/2 inch. So I'm going to fill up with a 1/2 inch of water. Here we go. Let me check the measurement. Need a little bit more. Here we go. 1/2 inch of water to almost a little bit more. And there. That's approximately 1/2 inch. Now let's turn the fire on. Let's start off on high because we need to get the water to boiling. Now you want to come. Very important that you salt your rice. If you don't, it'll make your flavors of your other food bland. Again, I don't measure, I go by eyesight. Now, we got the water. Now that we have the rice going, let me give it a cover real quickly, and then we'll come back to it. Put it there, so I'll be back with you in a second. All right, back with you. Now let's get to the etouffee. Now, first what we're gonna do is make a roux. What we're gonna do is put the unsalted butter in the pan, let it melt down, then add the flour. And what we're going to do with the flour is just cook the raw taste out of it. You don't want to make it like you're making a gumbo, which typically you use lard or oils. But in an etouffee, in my version, this part of Louisiana, that is usually from Breaux Bridge all the way to New Orleans, typically they use butter. Now, once we get the butter, it's lowered a little bit on the heat, as you can see. So what we're going to do is make our roux first. And what we're going to do is get a nice brown consistency or golden brown consistency. So while that's doing there, butter's melting good, let's get our flour ready. Now, once we have the flour ready to go, we're going to cook that down. Now, normally I'll do mine from scratch where I'll buy the crawfish, pour hot water on them. You don't boil them, just pour the hot water on them, and just to kill them. Then you separate the heads and you squeeze the head fat out, which is the yellow and orange stuff that you see on the inside of the crawfish head, and then separate the tails. Now what you want to do with the shells is boil it in some water to make your own stock. That is the real way to do an etouffee, but because it's early in the crawfish season, I'm going to make this real simple, so I bought the 1 pound of crawfish tails. I said $8.99, there you have it. So now we see our butter's melted down, let's add a little bit of flour. Again, I don't measure, I go by eyesight. Remember, this is 1 pound of flour, so it's not going to be a whole lot of roux, because you don't want to make a over thick gravy. Let's stir the roux. Now, while the roux is going here, looks pretty good for about 1 pound, but I think I can add a little more. And also another tip when you're doing any type of roux or gravies that you're going to make, whenever you use flour, whether it be with oil or butter, what you always want to do is add cold water. Do not, or chicken stock, beef stock, whatever you use, any type of fluid, make sure it is cold and not hot, because what it'll tend to do is make the roux seize up on you and you'll get clumps. And clumps is not what you really want. You want to be a nice, smooth consistency. As you can see here, flour is cooked down, it's cooking down, no more lumps. Now, what we want to do, let's see it's starting to turn a gold color. I want to lower my fire a little bit here. Now the fire is going nice. And we'll let that get a little brown, and then I'll come back with you in just a second. Alright guys, we're back with you. So now that you see it's getting a little brown, we want to go ahead and season our roux with the Trinity, the celery, bell pepper, onion, and garlic. Here we go. Now we got that, let's cook that in. Now I can see a nice pretty brown color. Pretty golden. What I want to do is cook these vegetables till they get a little translucent. Once we get a nice consistency on them, we'll be ready to rock and roll. Boy, if you can smell this kitchen right now, you swear you was in Louisiana. Now, let us sweat that a little bit. Now I want to use just a little bit of my Creole season here that I made. Not a lot, just a little, just to flavor the roux. There we go. Again, everybody has their own way of doing it. This is the way I do it. Now we got a nice pretty golden brown color. See if we add a little bit more to it. Let it cook down. Make sure you stir so the flour doesn't burn on you. And if it burns, you're going to have a bitter taste. You definitely don't want that in your etouffee. Okay guys, now we see that. Now it's time to add, in this case, because I'm not using crawfish shells, I'm going to use low sodium chicken broth. As you can see right here. Free range, Simple Truth. Pick this up from Kroger's. Good brand. Again, because it's low sodium, you're not going to have, it's not going to be salted. And I'm using unsalted butter as well. So keep that in mind when you're using unsalted butter. And you're not using traditional chicken stocks that are highly seasoned with salt. You're going to have to add your salt. So just be careful of not under seasoning your meal. Still a little thick. Again, I don't measure, I go by sight and by feel. Add a little more broth. Now typically when you're going to make any type of roux, you know, it's said that you should do equal parts. If you do 1 cup of flour, you do 1 cup of oil. 1 cup of flour, 1 cup of butter. Now, we're getting a pretty color on that. See, it's a nice golden brown. Now, what we want to let that do is thicken up a little bit. We're going to let it thicken up and then see if we're going to have to put more fluid in it. So we'll let that do its thing and I'll be right back with you. Alright guys, we're back. It's been going approximately about 20 minutes, cooking itself down. And while I was gone, I added probably a 1/4 cup of the heavy whipping cream. That way, you know, it can get a little thicker, and also added more of my Creole season. Now it's time to add the crawfish tails. Just going to put those in, and you're going to see a change of color almost immediately. Let's stir those in. Alright. Crawfish tails are already pre-cooked, so that's why I didn't throw them in right away. Plus, you know, seafood doesn't take any time to cook as well. So let's let this go for probably about, I'd say, another 10 minutes or so. Just so all the flavors combine together, you know, cook together well. We're going to cover it again, and we'll be right back with you. Alright guys, I'm back. Now you can see it is almost ready to be completed and done. Let's check on our rice. Remember earlier, I said I measured with my finger, 1 to 1. Look how light and fluffy the rice is. That is light and fluffy, perfect consistency. Not mushy. It's just the absolute perfect consistency, not burned, as you see here at the bottom. It's light, fluffy rice. Took me all of about 15 minutes to cook. So now when that's done, and I think I can pretty much turn it off, and let me plate it, and I'll be back with you to show you the finished product. Alrighty, good folks, we're back. Here's the finished product. The crawfish etouffee, all said and done, and a bottle of Pinot Noir, or glass, shall I say. Now this is my take on a quick 30-minute crawfish etouffee. The next time I'll show you guys how to do it from scratch with the crawfish itself. Y'all enjoy. Happy Valentine's Day.